Hi, and welcome to Catherine's Low Income Prepping / Survival. And today is 195. So here's what's going on. It's 2 days before November 1st, um, one day before Halloween, which is tomorrow, of course, the 31st of October. So today I want to talk about um, rigidity, flexibility, the government, and preparation. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. And it involves people who prepared for problems and people who didn't prepare for problems. And before I start, I want to thank everyone who has recently subscribed to my videos. I appreciate each and every one of you. Um, I was really surprised when I turned my computer on today and I saw how many people had subscribed. I'm sorry. I appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you. Even if you just watch the video, um, and if you dislike it, you can put a thumbs down. I mean, if you like it, put a thumbs up. So subscribe. Listen to what I have to say. Maybe you might learn something. Maybe you might comment to me and I might learn something. So, okay, first of all, we all know that November 1st, the food stamps are going to be temporarily suspended because they don't have enough money to pay for the food stamps right now. And as soon as the Democrats and the Republicans get together and they okay it, the budget, then everything will go back to normal as it was, if that's normal. Sometimes I think it wasn't, sometimes I think it was. So here's the deal. There used to be a TV show on a long time ago. It was called Kung Fu. I don't know if anyone ever used to watch this, but it had David Carradine as Kwai Chang Caine, who comes to America and he's supposed to be Chinese, but he was raised in a with the person who teaches Kung Fu with a kind of like a temple. Anyhow, one of the things the master had told him, and this leads to the flexibility part, you can either be rigid or flexible. The reed in the river that is rigid will not stand to the pressures of the river. The river will break that reed and it will go floating away. Whereas the reed that was flexible, it can bend with the river and flex, and survive and stay alive. And that's kind of part of what I'm saying about prepping today. For the last, we moved in here 7 years ago, approximately 6 or 7 years ago. We put away a lot of food. The first 2 years I did canned food. The last 2 years, the last 3 or 4 years, we've slowly been swapping that canned food over to freeze-dried food. And the reason is because the canned food I had to rotate every 2 or 3 years. Had to go through a complete rotation. We had 2 years worth of food, and that takes a lot. It took me the whole 7 years to build up that food and the canned food. And the reason is because I wanted to have enough food that if there was some type of disaster or we couldn't get food, remember what happened. You couldn't get toilet paper and a few other things when we had the disease going around, the suckies of sickness. Yeah, you remember we had to go, it's COVID. What the hell? I'll just say it. I don't care. So we done that, and then now we're rotating into freeze-dried food slowly. But I'm still keeping some canned. We're keeping 8 cans of every type of canned food that we like to eat. And I keep them stacked up on shelves and stuff, and in the kitchen and closets, whatever. But I have them set up so I can rotate them really easy. And I'm moving the freeze dried mostly into storage in closets. And the reason I'm doing this is so that we don't have to rotate it but every 20 something years. Most of that food will last 20 something years. Now we have a few foods that are only 10, and I'm keeping them in a separate spot. But I mean, that's 35 for our last batch that we bought. So if I'm still here in the 35, 20, 35, then and we haven't had to use them, well, then we'll start using them just before then. And then the 25-year stuff is good to 2050. So I guess the best thing to say is, about 2047 through 2050. We'll use them before then, starting about 45. If we're still here, hopefully. You never know. I'll be pretty old by then. But the point is that you have the opportunity to put away food. And one person that I know says, well, why do that? I don't eat the food, and well, you want to buy what you eat and store what you eat and and then rotate what you eat. That means you'll be taking cans out and eating them and putting your newer cans in the back, whether it's freeze dried or whether it's regular cans of food. But anyhow, about the flexibility, like I said about that story about the river and the flexible reed and the rigid reed. The rigid reed gets destroyed by the river. You got to learn to be flexible in your life, and I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, there's things I want to get next month, and we live on a budget, being that I'm retired and on Social Security. Tammy gets her check. She's not quite retired yet. She's on disability, but we get a little bit of food stamps. We don't get a lot, and we have to use a lot of cash along with our food stamps so we can eat. So I try to only go shopping 3 times a month. Hopefully, I can get in and out of the store without any problems. We got these crazies out there that are saying, oh, you owe me this and you this and that. Well, nobody really owes you anything. It's just the fact that government is nice and the United States is nice and they take care of their poor people. And I appreciate, the food stamps I get, the little bit that I get. I appreciate, Tammy appreciates the little bit that she gets. What bothers me is these women that have 10 children and 5 children and 8 children, and they get a check for each one of them, and they've been on it ever since they started birthing these children. And they're the ones screaming and yelling. Well, I understand they got to feed their children, but all these years that they've been raised, like one said she was on it for 15 years. She didn't put any food away. Evidently, she's not a prepper. So, I guess you reap what you sow, right? So that's all I'm going to say about that. When I go to the store, I heard this woman down there, and she was a black woman, and she was all upset, and she was screaming that she's going to get her food somehow. She's going to steal it from the store, or she's going to steal it from shoppers, or she was going to come kick your door in. What are you going to do if I come and kick your door in? Well, that'd be the last thing you'd ever want to do with me, because I live in Georgia. In Georgia, we have a castle doctrine. And on top of that, everyone pretty much carries a gun. I mean, I've seen people walking in the store with guns on their hip. It doesn't bother me because I have one too, And the thing is people out there that are threatening to do things to people, they got to think about what they're saying and about robbing people and about robbing. It'd be terrible to die over a loaf of bread and some cans of pork and beans, if you know what I'm saying. So think twice about what you're going to do. Find other ways to get your food. There's food banks. There's agencies that will give you vouchers to go to the store to get food. Use some of that cash. Smoke a little less pot. Smoke a little less crack, whatever it is that you do. And if you don't do anything and it's still tight, maybe you ought to look at your bills. Try to work on a better budget so you can lower your costs real quickly now. It's getting towards the end. And hey, I wish you the best of luck. And I wish you the best of luck getting through all this. Sooner or later, it will be over with, and we'll all be getting food stamps and everything else that we're supposed to be getting. But remember, there's a lot of federal employees out there that are not getting paychecks. And there's a lot of people that work as the tower people in the airports, the controllers. They're not getting paid either. And yet they're still making it. They're doing what they have to get by. And they're not hurting anyone. So think really hard about what you do. And, you know, prep and use this as an opportunity to realize that maybe you ought to prep for the future. If you would have had 30, 60 days worth of food, I would say have 90. I mean, my aunt, my grandmother and stuff, they always have a 90-day pantry. We have a 90-day pantry. We have more than that. But the point is we decided to do without some things to get this. We didn't get it all in 1 month. It took years to build this up. And same thing with savings. You should have 3 months worth of savings put back. You should, because the checks, the government, the computers could go down. People on Social Security, people on, I know it's hard, but there's no reason you can't put 10% away every month. So anyhow, I wish you all the best of luck. Remember, if you're watching this, you too are the resistance. I love you all. Say I love you to all your family, because you never know what tomorrow might bring. Y'all take care. Bye.